I like this table 5.4 from the older adults textbook. The advantages and disadvantages of different types of resistance training. You know, your body doesn't care. As long as you do progressive overload, it really doesn't matter what you do. So what does the person have access to? What do you have access to in your facility? Are you doing a program that they would do at a facility, or are you doing a home-based program? That's a huge market to try to develop programs that people can do at home. You know, even if they don't have a home gym, so something that's not going to take up a lot of space. So looking at things like body weight, they can always do body weight, but of course they have to, you know, be able to have some strength, and if they're doing things on the floor, they may or may not be able to get off the floor if they're an older, frail adult. And, you know, how do you find body weight exercises for all muscle groups? If you have a person that's very fit, you can't give them an Insanity or, you know, P90X type of program. If you have people that are very fit, then yes, they could do more of those type of body, you know, body weight moves. But that's going to vary individually. So curl-ups, push-ups, crunches, you know, push-ups against the wall if they can't get on the floor. So how are they going to be able to do these? Weight machines, obviously great. You know, not everybody's going to have these at their facilities, especially if you're looking at a home-based program. So, you know, but they are expensive. You know, machines are going to cost several thousands each. And people are definitely going to need instruction in how to use the machines. This is not something that is intuitive to people. You know, what to use a bench press or a seated pulley, row, what, you know, how do you even sit? Do you sit? Do you stand? You know, how do you even use the machine? So it does take a little bit more training. If you look at the examples, pneumatic resistance, so there are ones called Hydra Fitness that use water, fluid-based resistance. Keiser, K-E-I-S-E-R, they use an air compressed system. That's used in a lot of the resistance training studies with older adults. It's a specific system. We used it at Virginia Tech, and it's great. But if you have a problem and there's a leak in the system somewhere, then none of the machines are going to work. So it's fabulous if it works. You have the ability to even do more on eccentric. You can really tailor it for the individual, and it doesn't take up a lot of space. It doesn't use a big heavy weight stack like a lot of the machines would do downstairs in the West Center. Free weights, can get dumbbells, barbells, wrist and hand weights. You can use, you know, soup cans, dish detergent. You can use anything. So making sure that people are using and gripping the weights properly, that they're not over gripping, that they're not doing a Valsalva maneuver, they're breathing. It allows them, free weights allow them to work sides that may be weaker, so they can challenge. You can do, you know, a unilateral movement. So you can challenge a muscle group that might be more weak, or a left side that may be weaker than the right side. So you have to really make sure that they've got good proper form. Can they do them seated? Can they do them standing? Ankle and wrist weight. You do want to watch that people are not doing a lot of walking and other resistance exercises wearing wrist and ankle weights, because that can put some stress on their joints. So, you know, people think, oh, you know, if I walk and I put these weights on my ankles, I'm going to get a much better workout on that. That's not necessarily the case. Bands and tubes, perfect. Low cost, low space. You know, you have to be sure that you are using the right type of bands. The bands and tubing with different thicknesses. So the thinner ones are going to be easier for beginners, and the ones that are thicker are going to be more challenging for people who are more advanced. So you want to be able to try these out and, you know, feel comfortable with checking people in their form and using these. You want to use them, everything's got to be with good form. Of course, water exercise, water joints. We use all sorts of interesting, you know, accessories in the water. We've got the specific dumbbell weights for the water. We use the noodles. The noodle can be a pretty good form of resistance. There are weights you can attach to the ankles for things. So, you know, I encourage you, if you haven't, take advantage of doing some of the Aquatone classes here on campus. We have some students who have been teaching those classes, but they can always use more. And of course, you know, you have to have access to a pool. We've got the great pool here at Winthrop. It is accessible, so they have the chairlift if someone has difficulty getting in the pool. Some people are not comfortable in the water, so water is not going to be for everyone. And if people are uncomfortable putting on a bathing suit, obviously the pool is not going to work for them either.